Hello Commanders, welcome to the command table. My name is Matt and we have several strategies for you for today's Wicker, a few insights along the way. Before we get in though, let's have you please like and subscribe, and if you want notifications when I drop new videos, be sure to hit that notification bell. Also, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those below. You can also join the command table Discord channel. It is open source, everybody is welcome, and we love to see everybody there, so hop on. We'll usually post updates to streamline the raid over the course of the next 2 days, so be sure to check in every so often and see if we've come up with ways to save you keys or elixirs. Okay, let's go ahead and dive in. Let's actually go to Breather first. He has a 1 elixir build. He's using Claw of the Frost Dragon and the Phylactery of Silent Whispers, and he should be using Spear of Cataclysm. Yes, that is correct. Here he goes. He's got Reno in there, he's got a Stormcaller, he's got a cloned Frost Wizard, 3 Crystal Spires, and a bunch of archers. So when you get to SR15, almost the vast majority of your damage is done by your spear. So you know, the units that you put on the field, they're just kind of meant to fill in the gap for what your spear doesn't do. As you can see, his spear just shredded everything, and there was just steady damage chipping away from all the ranged units. So very solid, stable build from Breather. Thank you for sharing. Then we'll hop into what I have going on. This is my first profile. No elixirs, we're using Stompers and the Phylactery of Silent Whispers, and of course Spear of Cataclysm. Now, this one is incredibly dependent on the Berserk Power Stone and unit levels. So if you don't have, let me turn this down just a smidge. If you don't have the unit levels, or if you don't have the Power Stones, then this one may not be viable for you. The Stompers kind of mitigate the Earthquake, so every so often you'd see a bunch of units popping up. Those are the ones that weren't covered by the Stompers. Everything else that is covered by the Stompers is getting close to a 50% damage bonus because they avoided it. So it's worked very stable for me so far. Again, entirely dependent on unit levels, artifact levels, and having a few Berserk Power Stones in there. I think all in all for that build I had maybe four Berserk Power Stones, and the Warhounds were the first ones to get them because they do the most melee damage. Okay, this is my SR15 build. All the same artifacts that Breather was using. I'm only using 2 Crystal Spires because I've discovered that the Storm Guards do more damage than the Crystal Spires. And I've also discovered that if you try to jam a bunch of Crystal Spires up there, it's harder for your units to get by. And it also makes it to where they don't always hit 3 targets. So I just think, you know, since the Storm Guards do more damage, might as well throw them on there. One trick that I've been doing with my Storm Guards, I'm not sure if I mentioned this last time, but with the Storm Guards, I've gotten 4 units of them, but only a couple of them are to level 50. I think I've got one to level 100 and another one that's closing in on it. But the trick with that is if you have high unit levels on all of your other units, so long as you get your Storm Guards to 50, that buys them 2 Power Stone slots. So you can at least get 1 blast on each of those Storm Guards. And that's worked very well for me. So utilizing the boost for those Storm Guards has made a huge difference. This one, I dropped the Force Resistance Elixir, and we're using the Stompers now instead of the Claw of the Frost Dragon. So we don't need the Force Resistance since we've got the Stompers. Again, you don't want to try this with low-level Stompers. You kind of need to have high percentage on the avoidance, because you can still see a few of my things are getting thrown around and they're stunned for a little bit, but the vast majority of my units are still cranking the whole time. So every time they avoid a stun or knockback, they get a 50% damage bonus. So not quite as good as the damage bonus from Claw of the Frost Dragon, but if you use Claw of the Frost Dragon, you have to use the force resistance elixir to keep everything cranking. Otherwise, you're losing a bunch of damage by having your units incapacitated. Okay, this is my third profile. It's rocking SR15 now. And for this one I am skipping the Stompers just because my unit levels are lower. So by adding that elixir, I can buy the excess damage using the Claw of the Frost Dragon. So this will show you the unit levels and the power stones. I had a lot more Berserk to go around on this profile. I lucked out and got a lot of them. Again, you see a level 22 Stormguard in there that's level 86 because of the boost. So very well worthwhile to at least get a second or a third or a fourth group of Stormguards up to even level 20 to get one Power Stone slot, but 50 would be ideal. So yeah, get 4 Stormguards to level 50 and then focus on one to level 100 and then the next one after that, and that should work well for most folks. The boost is really come in handy for that. So SR15, very easily manageable with 1 or 2 elixirs depending on your unit levels. This is SR14, a little bit lower unit levels on this guy, but again, very stable. Just want to make sure that you don't put your crystal spires too close to each other. Otherwise, if they're right next to each other, you might get a couple of Stormguards blocked on it. So just a little bit of space between those two and they'll be able to filter right through, as you saw. And I do have, you can hop on the command table Discord channel. I have a spreadsheet, sorry, brain's dead. I have a spreadsheet that I've put together. There's a link there, everyone can access it. It shows the damage per second that each of these units do, so everybody can see that. It's in the FAQ channel, so feel free to check that out. There's lots of helpful information on there. You can see boss HP and a bunch of other stuff. For SR10, I did a melee swarm. I could probably arrange the units a little better, kind of pack them up a little closer to the front, but I'm not using any elixirs on this one. The earthquake doesn't hit nearly as hard. Everything's going to stay alive just fine. You don't need leech on anything. In fact, leech is a downside because if you've got berserk, then your unit isn't going to get to the point where it uses the berserk, because you need to be below 50% health. So avoid leech if you can. It's ultimately not necessary. Even if you're using phylactery, the earthquake at SR15 will not kill your units until that very last second. So you should be able to have everything going the entire time. So that's that's what we've got for today. So if you have any questions, feel free to hop on the Discord or leave a comment below. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you to those who contributed. Oh, I should have formatted that better. But thank you to Breather, IMMORTALYS, and Hikaji for sharing your builds. And please do subscribe. That's the best thing you can do to support the channel right now. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers. We're 3/4 of the way there. The sooner we get to 1,000 subscribers, the sooner we can apply to be monetized, and then we can start throwing some more resources at the game, maintaining a website, and doing all that jazz. So please do support by subscribing. Thanks again. Thanks for watching, and we'll have more content for you soon.